Okay, let's proceed to our next topic. We have the poliomyelitis. We always remember that poliomyelitis is an acute viral disease that usually affects the children and young adults. So it is caused by the poliovirus and characterized by the inflammations of the motor neurons of the brainstem and the spinal cord, resulting in the motor paralysis followed by the muscular atrophy and sometimes permanent disability. So yung poliomyelitis natin is a combination of two Greek words, folios or gray, which denotes to the gray matter of the nervous system, and myelos or marrow, which refers to the myelin sheets that cover the nerve fibers. Okay, so that is for polio and myelitis. And then we have the acute poliomyelitis, that is a viral infection localized in the anterior horn cells of the spinal cord and certain brainstem or motor nuclear. We have types uh, of that. Okay, so kasi yung poliomyelitis natin is caused by the poliovirus, filterable virus of genus, which is the enterovirus. So humans are only known to the host for the poliovirus. So there are three identified immunological types of virus that affects the people. We have the Brunhilde, that is named after the rhinus monkey, where the virus was first identified. And then we have the Lancine, which is referred to the virus was isolated from the bulbar polio in Lansing, Michigan, USA. And the third type, we have the Leon, was identified in a child named Leon during the Los Angeles epidemic. Okay, one of the three types of poliomyelitis is the viruses is usually the cause of infections, but the other members of enteroviral group can cause a conditions clinically and pathologically indistinguishable from poliomyelitis. So there are three types of poliomyelitis according to the severity. We have the abortive or non-paralytic type, we have the non-paralytic type of poliomyelitis, and then we have the paralytic poliomyelitis. Pag sinabi natin kasing abortive or non-paralytic, that is types accounts to 4 to 8% of all cases. And then non-paralytic naman, when the virus reaches the central nervous system and is still active. This will show some identified symptoms of poliomyelitis. And then yung paralytic poliomyelitis naman natin, this type affects a large number of nerve cells, thus muscle. They intervene, are unable to move. Okay, so usually affects children younger than 5 years old in developing tropical and subtropical countries. And there is an administrations of at least 2 and preferably 3 doses of Sabin oral folio or yung OPV natin to those 3 types of attenuated virus to prevent the disease. Okay? So, yung poliomyelitis natin invades the body through the oropharyngeal route. It multiplies the alimentary tract lymph nodes and is spread to the blood, accurately attacking the anterior horn ganglion cells of the spinal cord, especially in the lumbar and cervical enlargement. So, yung incubation period natin dito, mga anak, that is 6 to 20 days. And the mode of transmissions, usually fecal oral route, person to persons, and then we have the indirectly through contaminated articles. So yung fecal oral route natin, that is a mode of transmissions, direct contact with infected oropharyngeal secretions and feces. Yung person to person naman natin through the healthy caries. And lastly, in the indirect through contaminated articles such as water, food, and utensil, or due to the flies alighting on contaminated objects. So yan po yung mga mode of transmissions natin. So these are the as you can see, this is the polio infections, and then we have the paralytic polio. Yung paralytic polio natin, we have the spinal polio. Doon tayo mag-concentrate. In spinal paralytic poliomyelitis, that is a paralysis occurs in the muscle innervated by the motor neurons of the spinal cord. So yung spinal paralytic poliomyelitis is divided into the three forms. We have the higher spinal paralytic poliomyelitis. We have the lower spinal paralytic poliomyelitis. So yan po yung makikita po natin into So yung ating higher spinal paralytic poliomyelitis natin, this is the form occurs when the virus localized the upper portions of the spinal cord where the nerves that control respiration are found. And while in the lower spinal paralytic poliomyelitis, that is virus settles in the lower portion of the spinal cord, affecting the nerves, the innervates into the muscle, into the lower limbs. Okay. Next, we have the bulbar polio. Yung bulbar polio po natin, that is when the virus settle the medullary area where the vital nerves are located. So there is different primary signs and symptoms here. This is difficulty in speaking and swallowing because the neurons in the brainstem are attacked. Paralysis of the facial, pharyngeal, and ocular muscles, hypothalamic dysfunctions that is manifested by the impaired temperature, and then we have the positive Hoyne sign. So yung Hoyne sign natin, that is head lock occurs. So this sign is manifested when the patient is elevated in supine positions. Okay, so yan po yung ating bulbar polio. And then we have the bulbospinal. Yung bulbospinal naman natin, the neurons, both the brainstem and the spinal cord are involved, including the muscles they innervate. So yun po yun. Okay? Ayan. So this is the distributions of polio paralysis na sinabi ko kanina po sa inyo. So there is from the lower limb, trunk, lower limb, bilateral, and upper limb, trunk. So that is the distributions of the paralysis. Okay, so the number of individual muscle affected by the resultant passive paralysis and the severity of the paralysis vary. So in the clinical weakness is proportional to the number of the loss of motor unit. So it is important that we have the the proportion there para makikita natin where is the type of poliomyelitis according to their severity. It can be abortive, it can be non-paralytic, or it can be paralytic poliomyelitis. Okay, so kasi sabi ko nga kanina, the muscles innervated by the cervical and lumbar spinal segment and then the lower extremities. For example, here is the affected quadricep, gluteal, anterior tibial, medial hamstring, and so on and so forth. So these are the parts that usually innervated. Okay, so progressions. In the progressions, the potential of recovery of the muscle functions depends on the recovery of the damage, but not destroyed anterior horn cells. So most clinical recovery occurs during the first month after the acute illness in almost complete within the 6 months. A muscle paralyzed at 6 months remains paralyzed. So yan po yung ating iisipin in terms of that. Okay, so yung clinical course lang natin, the course of poliomyelitis can be divided into 3 stages. So pag-usapan natin from the acute, convalescent, and chronic. And there is also a post-polio syndrome po natin. Okay? Okay, in the acute page, that is generally lasts to 7 to 10 days. Ang symptom lang naman niya dyan mga anak, from mild malaise to generalized encephalomyelitis. And then there is a differential diagnosis including the GBS and other forms. Okay. And then treatment lang po natin dito in the acute phase, we have the bed rest, analgesic, hot packs, and anatomical positions of the limbs. Bakit? To prevent the flexion, posturing, and contractions. And then also here we have the padded board, pillows, and sandbags and sling can help to maintain the position. So that is the other one for the acute stage for treatment. In the convalescent stage, that is begins 2 days after the temperature returns to the normal and continues for 3 years. Okay, so muscle power improves spontaneously during this stage, especially this stage or during the first 4 months and gradually thereafter. So yung muscle strength na should be assessed monthly for 6 months and then every 3 months. Okay, so dito na papasok yung ating physical therapy should be emphasized in the muscle activity into the normal patterns and development of maximal capacity of individual muscles. And dito rin papasok yung ating vigorous passive stretching exercises and wedging casts can be used for mild and moderate contracture. In the chronic stage, we have the chronic stage of poliomyelitis usually begins 24 months after the acute illness. So during this stage, the orthopedists attempt to help the patients achieve the maximal functional activity by management of the long-term consequences of the muscles imbalance. Okay, so ang goal din dito is correcting any significant muscle imbalances and preventing correcting of soft tissues. And then static joint instability usually can be controlled. Okay? Yan. So that is a post-polio syndromes as we can see into the screen. So yung post-polio syndrome natin, that is a polio reoccur even after a person has recovered. So this can occur 15 to 40 years. So this condition called post-polio syndrome. So common symptoms natin dito mga anak, that is continuing muscle and joint weakness associated with pain, easily exhausted or fatigue, muscle wasting or muscle atrophy, difficulty of breathing and swallowing, low tolerance of cold temperature, and depressions. Okay, so these are the picture from acute polio, polio recovery, loss of innervations, and then post-polio syndromes. Okay. So, ang criteria natin, prior the paralytic poliomyelitis with the evidence of motor neuron loss, a period of partial or complete functional recovery after acute paralytic poliomyelitis. So, this is slowly progression and persistence with new muscle weakness or decreased endurance. So, symptoms that persist for at least year. So, exclusions po natin dito, mga anak, yung neuromuscular or medical and skeletal abnormalities. Okay? So, usually kasi, yung ating poliomyelitis, it can be headache and sore throat, slight or moderate fever, occasional vomiting with abdominal discomfort, and we have also the low lumbar pain, and there is also evidence of paralysis. And then, papasok na rin yan kapag non-paralytic naman siya mga anak, there is a type and spasm of the muscle of the hamstring, changes in deep and superficial reflexes, and there is also a neck, back, arms, leg, and abdomen pain, and ability to place the head between the knees usually. Okay, so these are the example of our poliomyelitis on the picture. As you can see, it depends upon the types of poliomyelitis. Okay, so dito papasok yung mga deformity. Usually affected the muscles or group include the hip and knee extensor, ankle dorsiflexor, intercostal muscle, spinal muscle, or thenar muscles. So titignan natin kung saan parte ng ating katawan that is having the poliomyelitis. We have the foot. In the foot, we have the claw toes. Diba? Yung toes that are bent into a claw-like position typically cause the muscle imbalance. And then we have Cabo Barros foot. So a foot deformity characterized by a high arc and an inverted heel, that is the varus. Yung high arc natin, that is cabus, and inverted heel, that is the varus. And then we have the dorsal bunion. A bony bump onto the top of the foot, usually at the base of the big toe instead of the side, which is more common. And then we have the Talipes equinovarus. Yung Talipes equinus muna tayo pala. Yung Talipes equinus natin, that is condition where the foot points downward and the heel is elevated. While in the Talipes equinovarus, that is the clubfoot na tinatawag natin. So that is a congenital condition where the foot is turned inward and downward. And then we have the Talipes cabovarus. Okay, so that is a combination of high arc and an inverted heel. We have the talipes equinovalgus, a condition where the foot points downward and turns outward. And then we have the talipes calcaneus, that is a condition where the foot points upward with the heel lowered. So, yan po yung nangyayari sa mga paa. Next, we have the knee naman. We have the flexions contracture of the knee. So, that is a conditions where the knee is stuck in a bent position due to the inability to fully straighten the joint. So, this can result from prolonged immobility, injury, or conditions like the arthritis. We have the quadricep paralysis. So, there is a loss of functions or weakness in the quadricep muscle group, so making it difficult or impossible to extend the knee. So, this can cause by the nerve damage, trauma, or conditions such as polio or stroke. Next, we have the genorecorbatum. So, that is a deformity where the knee hyperextend backward beyond its normal range of motions, creating a backward bend. So, it can result from ligament laxity, muscle imbalances, or neurological conditions affecting the muscles around the knee. And then lastly, we have the flail knee. That is a condition where the knee joints lack stability and control. So, typically, due to severe muscle weakness or paralysis. So, it results an inability to bear weight or control the knee movement effectively, causing the knee to collapse or flail unpredictably. So, yan po yun sa tuhod naman po. Next, while in the hip, sabi nga, paralysis of muscle around the hip can cause severe impairment. We have the flexion and abduction contracture of the hip. So, a condition where the hip becomes stuck in a flex and abducted position. So, this is often caused by prolonged immobility, muscle imbalances, or joint conditions like the arthritis or hip dysplasia. And then we have the hip instability and limping caused by paralysis of gluteus maximus and medius muscle. So, the gluteus maximus, that is the responsible for hip extension, and the gluteus medius, that is important for stabilizing the pelvis during the walking, are the key muscle for proper hip functions. So, paralysis or weakness in these muscles can lead to hip instability, resulting in abnormal gait. So, nagkakaroon ng limping and difficulty maintaining balance during the walking. And lastly, we have the paralytic hip dislocations. So, this occur when hip muscles, particularly ones responsible for stabilizing the joint, become the paralysis due to the nerve damage or neurological conditions. So, the loss of muscle control around the hip joint can cause it to dislocate, leading to pain, deformity, and further mobility issues. So, yan naman po sa ating hip. And then, sa abdomen, back, and scapula and neck. So, dito, there is a weakness of paralysis of the rectus abdominis procedure. So, nagkakaroon kasi ng increased lumbar lordosis that is exaggerated in the hip flexor are active. And then, we have the lateral deviations of the spine or pelvic obliquity. Okay, so yan yung tatandaan po lang natin. So, pinaghalo po doon. There is a paralysis of various muscles around the shoulder, can also contribute to paralytic scoliosis. Pwede po yun. And then in the shoulder, we have the paralysis deltoid. So the deltoid muscles is responsible for lifting the arm and stabilizing the shoulder. So paralysis of these muscles result in an inability to abduct the arm to the sides, as well as the difficulty in flexing, extending, and rotating the shoulder. So this paralysis can occur due to the nerve injury, particularly involving the axillary nerve. So the paralysis of subscapularis, supracapularis, and supraspinatus or infrapinatus. So that is, pag sinabi nating subscapularis paralysis, that is a subscapularis muscle is a part of the rotator cuff and help with the internal rotations of our shoulder. So paralysis can result in weakness or inability to internally rotate the arm. In the supraescapularis paralysis, that is a paralysis of supracapularis. Muscle affect the shoulder abduction and external rotations that is leading to the difficulty in raising the arm. In supraspinatus paralysis, that is a muscle involved in the first few degrees of our shoulder abduction. So its paralysis can lead to weakness initiating the shoulder movement. And lastly, in the infraspinatus paralysis, that is involved in external rotation of the shoulder. Paralysis result in difficulty rotating the arm outward and weakness in stabilizing the shoulder joint. And lastly, we have the flail shoulder, a condition where the shoulder joint loses stability due to the paralysis of multiple muscles around the joint, rendering it unable to move or bear weight effectively. So it characterized by a lack of control over the shoulder movements, leading to the flail appearance. So this is often the result of the severe nerve injury or neurological conditions affecting the shoulders muscle, including the deltoid and rotator cuff muscles. We have the elbow and the forearm. So, nagkakaroon tayo ng flexion contracture of the elbow and pronations contracture. Doon sa flexion contracture of the elbow, this occur when the elbow joint becomes stuck and bent positions, preventing the full extensions of the arm. So, kapag nagkaroon ng prolonged immobility, injury, or arthritis, or scar formations. So these conditions can limit the range of motions and affect daily activities that require full extensions of the arm. And then in the pronation contracture, that is a conditions where the forearm is stuck in a pronated positions. Okay, and cannot return to the neutral or supinated positions. These are the examples of those discussed earlier. Okay, surgical options lang naman natin mga ito na in terms of the kwan po natin sa ating mga polio cases, but to get the patients walking, if the patient is a child, correct factors that will create deformity with growth, to correct the factors that will obviate or reduce, to correct the upper extremity problem, or to treat the scoliosis. So, yan lang naman po yung mga surgical options po natin. And tendon transfer, if possible, kasi nga kailangan natin improve the stability by improving the muscle balance and to provide the active motor power. Okay, and to eliminate the deforming effect of the muscles when its antagonist is paralyzed. Okay, so ito lang po yung some examples of the some notes in terms of tendon transfer shift, so you can read there. Okay, and then bony procedure, pwede rin po tayo dyan as long as it depends upon the types of poliomyelitis according to the severity. So pwede po nating ipasok itong mga procedure po na ito. And then treatment modalities lang natin for our communicable this one, analgesic are given to ease the headache, back pain, and leg spasm. So morphine is contraindicated because of the danger of additional respiratory suppressions. And then another treatment modalities, pwede rin po yung moist heat application may reduce the muscle spasm and pain. Bed rest is necessary. If the paralytic polio requires rehabilitation, using physical therapy, braces, corrective shoes, and in some cases, orthopedic surgery. So nakita naman natin yung mga surgical procedure. If there is no cure for polio, however, it can be prevented by immunizations, and therapies and antispasmodic drugs can improve the mobility, but they cannot reverse permanent polio paralysis. So, yan lang po yung mga some treatment modalities natin. In the preventions and control, siyempre number one dyan, that is immunization, which is the OPV or oral polio vaccine. Proper disposal of GIT secretions, isolations, implementation of standard precautions, sanitation of premises, and proper food handling to avoid contaminations. Flies should be strictly absorbed. And nursing management, ang pinaka-importante po natin dyan, carry out the enteric isolation. Number 2, observe the patient carefully for the signs of paralysis and other neurologic damages. Perform also a neurologic assessment at least one a day, but do not demand any vigorous muscular activity. Check blood pressure regularly, especially in bulbar poliomyelitis. Watch for signs of fecal impaction due to the hydrations and immobility. Give sufficient fluid to ensure the adequate daily output. Prevent the occurrence of pressure sore. Provide a good skin care. Reposition the patient frequently and keep the bed dry. Prevent the spread of the disease by hand washing after every contact with patient. Apply packs to the affected limb to relieve pain and muscle shortening. Dispose of the patient excreta and vomitus properly. Importante rin po ito, provide emotional support both to the patients and the family, and maintain good personal hygiene, particularly oral and skin care. So yan po yung pakakatandaan po natin in terms of the nursing interventions in a persons with poliomyelitis. So to wrap up, sa atin, importante natin malaman that poliomyelitis, that is infantile paralysis. So that is Hayne-Midden disease. Etiologic agent natin, that is enterovirus, that is affect the three types of virus, Brohilde, Lansing, and Leon. And then pinag-usapan din natin the different types of poliomyelitis according to the severity. But we focus on the paralytic poliomyelitis, which is the bulbar polio, spinal paralytic, and then bulbo spinal. So that is for poliomyelitis. Thank you for listening.